Alright guys, Forex market update, let's get straight into it. We've done crypto this morning, now let's get into some Forex. Yeah, gold's continuing to go lower, leaving behind quite a bit of supply. Everything remains quite bearish so far on the pair, so just as an FYI there. And that alert that has just come through also means my position has been filled. So like for you guys, you are now seeing a live entry on camera. I will go to that in a minute. Yeah, so we're just coming down, leaving behind more and more supply here on gold. Not a whole lot I am interested in, to be completely honest. This has all been mitigated on the lower time frame as well. Yeah. Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily use this as supply, as per se. Yeah, that's it. All right, so let me quickly jump to our render play before. Essentially what this is a counter context, quite a counter context long here. So we have our pretty clean looking accumulation model, to be completely honest. Quite clean. The only negative thing about this whole entry is that, as I have said, it is counter context. The alts market, including Bitcoin, is expected to go lower. However, yeah, this opportunity just like price moved really nicely here. I have entered with very little risk as well, so I entered with around 0.3% risk, just because it is a counter context move. I just missed this break. I opened my laptop as price was about here, and then I essentially set a limit, but I just wanted to keep it. This is more of like a psychological thing. I just wanted to keep it within a minimum of 3 risk to reward entry here. So by the time price got up to like here, I just set a limit buy, because as you know, we can always expect a pullback. We never expect a straight, upwards. We don't expect a break of structure and a straight move straight up to TP. So yeah, hence why I anticipated a slight pullback. I'm not going to enter with anything else unless we somehow manage to slowly come down into this market maker demand that was left behind. If we mitigate this demand and convincingly break structure, then I will enter with the remaining 0.7%, making this a 1% entry. As that's kind of all the indication I need that we're going to most likely complete, well, not most likely, like that we have an opportunity here to complete this local move up. Yeah, and then as to why it is counter context. Yeah, I mean, we look at USDT dominance for a start. Well, at the moment it's going low, it's going down, so it's good for this local accumulation. But like, yeah, you look overall, we look on the hourly. Where's my, here it is. Yeah, At the time of this most recent update this morning, we were bullish on the hourly. Maybe that has changed. Yeah, hasn't changed yet. We're still bullish on the hourly. The hourly lows here. The only thing to be mindful of is that we do have some decent liquidity below, which could be good for at least price to move down locally to like here, which is probably going to be enough fuel to the fire to give our end along the legs to hit TP at that local range. But yeah, like, I mean, USDT dominance is still looking quite bullish. Bitcoin is also still looking bearish, so it hasn't broken structure to the upside at all. Where's my Bitcoin? Yeah, so it hasn't broken structure to bullish either. So far, like, yeah, Bitcoin's still expected to go lower, and USDT thus far is still expected to go higher. But yeah, just in the very short term, like sub hourly, then we can expect Bitcoin to go a little higher, and then we can expect USDT dominance to go a little lower, which is why it is a potential good opportunity here for this fairly counter context render along that I did enter on, with, yeah, very little risk. And yeah, that's it for now. I'll be monitoring this. We are just in profit now, and yeah, I'll set my TP as well, just because I expect zero follow through on this model. I don't expect any sort of follow through. So it will probably be a good idea to set my TP early on at 1 point. I normally like setting it just below because sometimes they don't always get filled. So I'll set this at 1.6582. Or 1.658 to be exact. So now we've got our stop loss, and we have our take profit. Awesome. And yeah, alerts are set. I've got my alert set at this demand, and yeah, and that's it. Set and forget is the plan here. So we will move on. We've done crypto today, so let's continue with Forex. All right, let me just quickly make sure there's nothing more to add about gold. Yeah, so we have grabbed this extreme liquidity. We might expect a local move up, just locally. But yeah, contextually speaking, I still expect us to go lower overall. But yeah, just expect maybe a local bounce, but there's no real POIs or ranges that that are interesting to me at the moment. So yeah, we will move on. Silver has hit demand. Swept extreme liquidity here. Left behind supply above, as we can see. the supply may have been mitigated on the lower time frame. Apologies for the lag. This is not your computer, guys. This is my computer. So far, this looks like a very valid, refined, overlapping supply order block. Did not mean to do that. The lag today is unbelievable. I'm just going to quickly restart TradingView. Well, nothing has changed. Interesting. Trying to figure out what else I could do. I'm just going to turn my screen off for a minute and try my browser. Hopefully this doesn't interfere with anything. Let me just log in. Come on, take me to the charts. Sign in. Yes. Yes, please. Awesome. Yes, this is me trying to sign in. Come on, guys. Let me in, let me in. Oh, quality does not look good here. Damn, this looks terrible. This actually looks terrible. I'm gonna refresh this. I'm hoping it's just a refresh thing. Well, we are definitely experiencing some technical difficulties at the moment. All right, I'm going to try it again. I'm just waiting for this thing to freeze. There it goes. All right, we're going to make do. Silver at the moment. Not a whole lot that I'm interested in for now. Contextually, we remain the same. Still rather bearish. In terms of other POIs that we should be looking out for, is kind of just this demand below. Other than that, there's not much else I am interested in monitoring, to be completely honest. That is it. That is it. Yeah. All right, let's have a look at oil. Well, we might have a model. We might have a Model 1 accumulation here. Let's have a look. We've obviously grabbed everything that there was to grab here. Those are all some strong wicks, which can be a good indication that we are looking to reverse. I mean, at first glance, I really like how this is looking. We are bearish on the hourly, just FYI, and we're pretty much bearish until like here. So this is our hourly high. It's not pretty, but it is our hourly high. So we can pretty much go as high as here in SFP and then come back down. But that's just the way this chart is. And then in terms of whatever's happened in here, we haven't actually SFP'd, that's not a 45-minute high. We've SFP'd our 30-minute high. We have some form of demand in here. I'm interested in something a bit more refined. There could be a potential test entry opportunity here, as we haven't really broken any major structure. So we can come back, you know, slowly pull back in here and then break structure. So yeah, 30-minute structure has not been broken. We've SFP'd it right here, twice as a matter of fact. I am going to stand up. Yeah, so we've SFP'd this here. Man, even like the 50-minute. No 50-minute valid market structure in there. We've only broken 10-minute market structure. And we have something to be very careful of. Local distribution has been formed here. So expect this to get completed. And yeah, plan here is for me to essentially wait for this distribution model to complete itself, because it is a valid distribution model. And then if we can get a mitigation here, followed by a strong break of structure, then we enter on this extended fourth tap. As much as this distribution did create itself, it completed itself, and then you can say that, technically speaking, the purpose of this distribution was to mitigate market maker demand. So that is the plan here. But yeah, once again, you just have to be patient in terms of sessions. Asia high is unmitigated and Asia low has been taken, which is pretty good for this higher time frame accumulation as a whole. So I do like what I'm seeing. Yeah, quite like what I'm seeing here. And yeah, no matter how strong the break, if we continue breaking above, I'm not really going to enter. It's not what my pre-planning is consisting of. I'm only going to enter if we can get a nice mitigation of the demand followed by a strong break of structure. As yeah, we've SFP'd this low, so when you the high, sorry, we've SFP'd the 30-minute market structure high, and when you do SFP a high, you can expect a full rotation back down. But we do have market maker demand here, so we will see what yeah, we'll see what happens essentially. we still bullish here on the daily? Well, this needs to get changed to bearish on the hourly. And then on the daily, yeah, sorry, we are still bullish on the daily, so this kind of remains as is. This very much so remains as is. There is a little bit of, oh no, that's been mitigated, apologies. There is supply here, which is valid supply, just as an FYI. So same thing, where it'll be very important to manage how we it'll be very interesting to see how we, if we come up into this supply. But yeah, I'll just be overall very careful. We might be able to like catch a local scalp, especially off a break of structure there, but I'll be very quick to de-risk this, just because as much as the weekly and daily remains bullish, like we're leaving behind quite a bit of supply along the way. The return to zone into a potential third tap isn't the cleanest either. So yeah, just something to be aware of there. But yeah, that is pre-planning for, that's pre-planning for oil. Awesome. All right, let's see where, let me just quickly double check what Render's doing before I continue with the rest of Forex. And then Render is looking to make a slight pullback into this demand, so we will see. All right, let's continue. AUD CAD. We're still very much bearish here. Yeah, still quite bearish across the board here. Is the daily bullish? That's my question. Yeah, context remains the same here. Bearish low time frame, bullish high time frame. I'm not a fan of price action here, to be completely honest. Yeah, I'm not really liking the price action here. Like, you can use this as a potential range, but this would be a crazy scalp. Return to zone doesn't look too bad, to be honest. The only thing that I'm not really... You can technically use this as... I wouldn't necessarily use this as extreme liquidity just because it's not... It might be valid on the 30-second, but it's not valid on the minute. Yeah, it's valid on the 30-second as extreme liquidity. Or as we have nothing else to use, we can use this. But overall, I would kind of lean towards a Model 1 happening here, or taking place. I will set my alert as to when this might happen. No real structure in here. There might even be supply. No real supply here. If we're looking at correct market structure, there's no real valid supply. Supply's been mitigated there. We have OBIF here, but once again, kind of useless. I actually don't mind this, but it's just in an awkward situation. Like, it's in an awkward spot because we have liquidity here. Serious? Trading view is really playing up today, as they say. No real. You can kind of use this as liquidity, as a form of extreme liquidity. Like, I will kind of allow this. But we are so close to this range low as well. So that is also something to be mindful of. But yeah, like, ideally I would like this to become a model, I would like this to become a Model 1. I'm just not getting the opportunities I'm lacking on a Model 2, from a Model 2 perspective. This is my 1 minute market structure high. Like, it's just not looking that good. But yeah, that's for AUD CAD. We'll see what happens. Like, yeah, Asia low has been taken, Asia high is still there. Volume wise, it looks fine, I think. Okay, no, volume wise actually terrible. Don't know why I jumped the gun there. We do have a little bit of rainbow liquidity here because New York highs haven't been taken, and then previous day London highs have also not been taken, so that could be a semi-decent liquidity target. So yeah, let's just see what happens here. Let's just see what happens. GBP, JPY. Well, we're just continuing to pull back into supply here, as you can see. Maybe a local distribution model here. This could be our Model 1, guys. This could be our Model 1. Boom. Boom. It's aggressive though. Just be careful of that. And we have left supply. We have left supply above, which I do not like, but obviously doesn't necessarily matter because the market structure break is past supply anyway, so we would not be entering unless we break structure, and for us to break structure we have to rip through supply. So like, yeah, it's kind of same principle applies. And as a matter of fact, no, it's still 1 minute. So yeah, still remains as is. All right, GBP JPY. What was the context saying here? That is very important. Still bearish on the 4 hour. Bullish on the hourly. And I would assume bearish on everything else except for the weekly chart. Yeah, that remains as is. Nevertheless, we are in a confirmed distribution. I will continue to look for re-entry opportunities, with one being right here. And yeah, so far the return to zone looks alright. We will wait for more price action and we will revisit this later today. I'm trying to see what potential POIs do we have here. I'd like to think there's some extreme supply. This is like ever. It hasn't actually. That's fine. This is our extreme supply. All right, let's have a look at USD CHF. All right, this map needs. I'm gonna have to redo this, guys. This is so much is happening at the moment on this. All right. Well, we've mitigated demand. That can go. Alright, USD. I just got to quickly order dinner. So what I will do is I'm just going to quickly duck out, order my food, and then I will come back. So give me 2 minutes. Alright, I don't like how aggressively we're coming back down here. I have a feeling, especially if we're leaving supply now, I have a feeling we might rip through demand. Yeah, we've left supply behind here. It's not looking the best, but I will be monitoring this. If we pull through, we pull through. It is what it is. Right, give me a second. I will come back. All right, we're going to monitor this, so we're probably going to have to come back to this soon. USD CHF, let's resume. Have I deleted? I have. Of course I have. Of course I have. You know what? That doesn't matter, we'll redraw that, that's fine. Right, well, we're just gonna have to redraw our context. I'll tell you what, the perfect mitigation of this refined supply is pretty cool to see. All right, let's go from the top then, eh? Okay, so we've SFP the weekly high. We're bearish on the weekly. That's quite evident. We might be bullish on the daily, maybe. As a matter of fact, we're also bearish on the daily. So that weekly, the weekly high is also the daily high, so we're still bearish on the daily. I would confidently say we're bullish on the 4 hour. Give us some market structure in here. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we're bullish on the 4 hour. And probably will be bullish on the hourly as well. But to be completely honest, guys, there's not much that I'm interested in at the moment in terms of price action. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of price action that interests me at the moment in terms of USD CHF. So we will wait and see what happens. Like, yeah, if anything, you can just use this as a new potential range. All right, Euro USD, what are we saying? Lots of supply left behind. We definitely look bearish on the daily, probably still on the weekly, definitely on the weekly. 4 hourly is also bearish. We are officially bull. Oh. We might just be bullish on the hourly here. We have broken structure there, too bullish. yeah, we are bullish on the hourly after SFPing this hourly low. The one thing I'm kind of still looking or keeping an eye out for is, regardless of us being bullish on the hourly, I still feel like we might get a distribution coming up into some more supply above. So we will see what happens there. From a very local standpoint, nothing is of interest at the moment. So we should just be patient. We have demand below, which has a good chance that it will get mitigated. Other than that, that's kind of it. That is it for Euro NZD. For Euro USD, sorry. Let me quickly skip to render. Yet to mitigate this supply, and we're also approaching demand, so will be interesting to see how we bounce from here. Alright, Euro NZD, that's where we were at. Yeah, we are still bullish on the hourly after SFPing all these hourly lows. We are still bearish on the 4 hour. Yeah, so obviously weekly structure was just broken there. Oh, actually, no, sorry. We're still bullish on the weekly. Yeah, we've broken 4-day structure to bearish. Yeah, we obviously never broke daily structure back to bullish. You can kind of use this whole move as extreme liquidity. That supply's been mitigated, or the demand's been mitigated. Yeah, just not. It's one of those instances where you're kind of just forcing things, especially when you look at this for too much. Yeah, not a whole lot that I'm looking to work with at the moment. So I'm kind of just leaving that as is. Yeah, still bearish on the 4-hour. We're obviously bullish now on the hourly. Yeah, it's just kind of like an awkward sort of range. We might sweep these equal highs and then reverse back down. That's a possibility, quite likely. So we will see what happens there. Right, GBP AUD, but first let's check render. And we are front running, we have broken structure, funnily enough, on the 1 minute there, after front running demand. But that also means that we have mitigated supply. I'm still not adding to the position just because demand hasn't been mitigated. Supply has though, which is good. All right, let's continue GBP AUD. And we are going higher. Well, there you go. I feel like this is now, we're not coming back down, guys. We are not coming back down. This range will most likely complete itself. And if you manage to enter here, well done. Yeah, there was a beautiful, beautiful entry opportunity in there. You could have entered there. A lot of potential. And yeah, like so far the environment remains bullish here. That's the weekly high, so we can expect to hit the range. Yeah, overall, not a whole lot I'm looking to do now. Prices just continue to move up. Creating demand, mitigating demand. That's pretty much all it's done. Leaving behind demand chain after demand chain. Yeah, this has been mitigated on the lower time frame. So this is no longer of interest to us. On the higher time frame. Yeah. CHF, JP, well, yeah, you know what, let's just see where you could have entered here. Yeah, I do remember this. Yeah, it was kind of this model that was sort of dragging it out a little bit too much. Question was, did it grab anything? Yeah, like technically speaking, this was sort of extreme demand and then this was sort of extreme liquidity, which it never really grabbed. So it was, you never really had a clean entry. You can't really use those, but you can't really use the price action here as extreme liquidity. It's just too high up. It's perfectly tucked in just inside our initial range because it's, you know, just in here, but you still have these which are a lot higher quality POIs, especially from an extreme liquidity point of view. Like that's all liquidity there, which yeah, we just never went down to grab. But you technically speaking could have entered just on a break of structure post this mitigation here of the higher time frame model. So you kind of had all the right to, let's say there was an entry around there. Like that was quite valid. And you'd be in a fairly comfortable like 3 risk reward now for an overall 6. Like, yeah, you had opportunities to make this a much more refined trade, even close to like a 30 maybe, but the idea is there, which you can see, you know, the principles work. If you think I'm just drawing lines on a chart, then you can watch my previous videos where we've spent so long pre-planning for this move. Like, we really spent quite a bit pre-planning for this move, and it's confirmed itself. But yeah, as of now, nothing more is of interest for this range at the moment. Maybe there's some demand below. We looked at that. That's obviously not of interest. Maybe this as an OBIF. I'll technically use this as an OBIF. Like, it has been mitigated on the lower time frame, but we can draw our little line which showcases where the remainder of the inefficiency lies. Yeah, that's kind of it for GBP AUD. Not a whole lot more that I'm interested in. Before we go to CHF JPY, we'll go back to render. I don't think it's done much. I think it's just hovering around that POI after its broken structure. Yeah, so very weak break. Weak break in the sense of that it's revisiting. Will it bounce off demand? We'll see. We will see. All right, let's move on to CHF JPY. Confirm distribution here. Yeah, everything kind of still looks bearish to me. I don't think we've broken any form of structure back up. Yeah, that's correct. We're still bearish pretty much across the board here. The one thing I'll look for is maybe a distribution model here. Maybe. I will set my alerts. That's kind of it, really. I think we're just going to continue going down, as a matter of fact. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Plenty of room to go lower. And yeah, this is quite a prominent top by the looks of it. The Swiss franc has been going up for ages compared to the Japanese yen. Like, it has been going like crazy. And then I do believe that if there was supply in here, it has been mitigated. Yeah, it has. That's fine. Yeah, that remains as is for CHF JPY. We have ran through everything here. So far, we can potentially look at this as a distribution. Have I drawn something there? No. But let's see where we are. Contextually speaking, as always. Yeah, so We are in a confirmed distribution. Still, we've obviously pumped up a little bit. But overall, I'm still expecting this range low to get taken out. So this could just be an okay re-entry opportunity. We haven't broken daily structure to bullish just yet. This is our daily high. We might even SFP the daily high as part of our second or third tap. That's possible, which could just be more confluence in a way. GBP, JPY, we'll get back to that in a minute. We'll see how valid this demand is. Okay, that's quite valid for now. Yep. Valid demand, so definitely be careful there. I think it's even overlapping. Yeah. Yeah, so this will be a nice demand POI, so I'll just be very, very cautious. If we get the short confirmation, I'll be very, very careful with the demand here below. Sweet. All right. Yeah, that is honestly it for GBP and NZD at the moment. Yeah, just be very, very cautious of that demand, and yeah, we'll monitor what happens at this daily high. Before we go to USD CAD, let's see what GBP JPY was doing. Okay, this could be a potential local I need to analyze a few things. First of all, the taps are very, very close to each other, which I do not like. Asia low sitting decently, to be completely honest. Like, yeah, contextually it's kind of aligning with this whole model. We're in a confirmed distribution. There is more supply to mitigate above, but it's not always a requirement. From a local perspective, yeah, this 3-minute break could be a good POI. Is there anything on the 2 minute? Not really, like that's the 2 minute low, but you may as well just go for the 3 minute low. It is a lot higher quality. And yeah, return to zone coming into that 3 minute low is quite nice. So I don't really mind this. But as always, the break is very, very important to monitor. Do we have anything on the 1 minute? Not really. It would have been this if this was valid structure, but it isn't. And I will set an alert just in case this does become a Model 1. So yeah, GBP, JPY, definitely something to monitor for now. The only thing I don't like here, but you obviously take into consideration the higher time frame context, is the risk to reward. And you're at like a 2.31. I will definitely calculate this. As just an approximate. Or there's render. Okay. So yeah, we might be getting a Model 1 here. Nevertheless, our alerts are still set. Let's see what render is doing. Well, it's wicked this demand. I actually thought I forgot to place this. Okay, interesting. So it's SFP'd its market structure low, technically speaking. So it's in a very awkward spot at the moment, but we will be patient. Nevertheless, we will continue. We've done GBP, NZD, USD, CAD. Yeah, so far we're still looking to, we've actually made our first tap of this very high time frame distribution, so good for us that we have done this. Boom. And now we might expect some sort of pullback back into this range. That's very normal. Yeah, not a lot at the moment that I'm interested in. I just want to let price action do its thing a bit more. We're still bullish. Like we broke structure here to bearish, and then we've broken it back to bullish. We're bullish. Actually, let me draw some market structure. Okay, so we're bullish. Bam, bam. There's no valid structure in here. So we've now made a higher low. Same thing, no valid structure in here. So this is telling a break of structure to bearish, with this being our, yeah. And then this is now officially a break structure back to bullish. So yeah, we are bullish on the hourly, so that remains the same. I have a feeling render has now finally mitigated the main supply area. There it is. How will we react from this? We will find out. If and only if I get a break of structure here, I'm willing to add some more risk. But that's only if I get it, and it has to be a great break of structure. Like this needs to be a beautiful, beautiful break of structure. And then that would allow me to enter a second position along from like here. Stops will obviously be below this because there's no more reason for price to go lower after it's just mitigated demand. And then yeah, we can let this run for quite a bit. And we've kind of mitigated all supply that has been here. So now I'm just going to quickly calculate my position size on my phone. Otherwise this all does not, none of this matters if we continue and break past this low. Alright, entry price around 1.5760. Stop loss would be around 1.5651. Yeah, 0.5%. And the margin would be, or the total position size, okay. Well, that is now calculated. Alright, let's continue with our check. The pre-planning is done here. There's not much more to do other than let the market do its thing. Alright, CHF JPY, we've already done this, I believe. Yes, we have. Or have we? GBP NZD. That's gone. That still remains market structure low for now. GBP NZD. Yeah, so once again, this is all done. Not a whole lot more that I want to see, other than maybe a return back into the zone. Alerts are set on that hourly high or daily high. Same thing here, just let price do its thing. Now, USD JPY. Well, if you guys remembered, I hesitated on entering this because I didn't like the overall context on the lower time frames being bullish across the 1, 2, and the 4 hour. And that's exactly why I did not want to enter. And you can see us, we would have been stopped out. And we actually broke back up. So yeah, so context here. Still bullish on the hourly. Still bullish on the 2 hour. This might be the end of render, guys. Still bullish on the hourly. So yeah, overall, like we're fairly bullish here. We've left some demand like there. We are just in supply, so it's something like to be aware of, I guess. There's just no nice market structure lows that we're going to break, or that we can break. Yeah, if I was to pick something out, I would honestly say just be mindful for this market structure low on the 4 hour. And that's literally it. Yeah, and then other than that, there's not a whole lot I'm too interested in. Higher time frame is bearish, but lower time frame is still quite bullish, so just be aware there. Euro GBP seems like this is still quite bearish. For hourly still bearish. And there is also supply above. As a matter of fact, everything here has kind of been mitigated on the lower time frame, so it's not as Yeah, it's not as crucial of a supply POI as what we initially thought, so that can be left alone, to be honest. Yeah, that's fine. And it also hasn't really like grabbed anything. Yeah, quite counter context potential trade this is. I would be a little careful with this, and there's no return to zone whatsoever, so not a whole lot to work with for Euro GBP. So let's move on. GBP USD. Now this is something I don't mind the look of. We're approaching a supply zone where sentiment may have changed, at least for now. No, it has not. We're still very much bearish on the hourly. This could be a potential distribution. Nothing more needs to be done here than just set these two alerts. That's it. Focus on the higher time frame, and we will see what happens. Yeah, quite a bit for this to, by the time we might be getting a confirmation in the morning. We will see. Alright, NZD CAD. Yeah, still bearish and not a whole lot interests me here. I will definitely need this pair to move around a little bit more. AUD CHF looks still quite, AUD USD, sorry, looks quite bearish across the board still. We had this semi weird looking distribution confirm itself. That's no longer of interest, and we're looking to just continue going lower. We've got demand below. I expect us to visit the demand. Not much more that interests me at the moment. And then AUD CHF, which is what I thought we were on earlier. Still bearish. Still bearish, and nothing interests me at the moment. Yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, that is it. Our main focus is at the moment. I think this got invalidated quite. The thing is, this is still kind of. This is still allowed, but yeah, it's all dependent on how we break this market structure high. Other than that, yeah, GBP JPY is our main pair that we want to pay attention to. No market structure breaks here. I don't think anything on the one, no. So yeah, that is still our market structure low, which is a market structure low on the, I think it was 3 minute. Yeah, 3 minute. Boom. Yeah, that's it. That's it for GBP JPY. I'll be cautiously monitoring this, and then I've got my alerts just in case this does decide to become a Model 1. And obviously, if it does decide to become a Model 1, I'd probably be leaning towards a Model 1. The third tap will be a lot more realistic from a distance perspective, and then most likely the risk to reward will also be a lot better as well. And yeah, last thing before we end this, let's check render, which is holding on for dear life at the moment. This is as test of an entry as you can get. This is as as test of a pullback as you can get. This remains market structure high. What we can do here is pretty much, there's no point in narrowing this. Like, you're not really gaining and losing a lot. Like, you can narrow this to here for like, yeah, not a whole lot. We'll leave this as is. What I will check is actually if I'm still in this trade and I haven't been stopped out because of the fills, or the spreads, as you call them. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if I've been stopped out because this went ridiculously close towards our market structure low. It does say floating P&L. We're still in the position for now. We are still in the position for now. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll be monitoring these carefully, and yeah, see you all in tomorrow's update. All right, thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you've taken some information from this, and yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.